Hey guys, I'm out here. I'm going to. I was back before I did a video. We were walking this nature trail with me and my son, and I told you I'd come back because I wanted to get some red sumac because it makes a great uh, tea. It makes a great lemonade. So I was going to harvest some of that, but I didn't want to do it when I was on the trail. Then we just had too much of a walk in front of us to be able to carry it all back, to carry some back. So I'm back now. It was at the beginning of the trail. I harvested from this tree last year, and I'm going to harvest from it again. Last year I made a tea. This year I think I'm going to make a lemonade with it. Stuff is very high in vitamin C. Tastes very good. You add a little bit of honey to it, to either the tea or the lemonade you're going to make. And it's very healthy for you, very nutritious. And I was turned on to this by a friend of mine, Pastor Joe Fox, a couple of years ago, maybe 4 or 5 years ago, when he pulled some off of a tree and handed it to me and said, "Here, put this in your mouth." And all right, I trust the guy, but it was good. And so I've been trying to, every time I see it, I've been trying to, get some ever since. And like I said, I harvested from this tree last year, and I'm going to harvest from it again this year, and I'll show you that right now. There is the sumac, the red sumac berries, like right there. You put that in your mouth. It's got a very distinct lemon flavor, twang flavor. You need to add sugar to it or honey to make it taste really good, but it's good stuff. So I'm going to harvest some of this from this tree right here. It goes all up in there. Makes your fingers really sticky. It hasn't rained here, a real good rain, in about a month. And so, I mean, there's plenty of flavor on all these. It goes all the way up into there. There's plenty of flavor on this stuff. If you wait until it rains in the fall, we're getting close to the fall now, it'll wash a lot of the vitamin C off and a lot of the flavor off the berries. So what you want to do, and it's just, if you can see that, it's just really coated and really sticky on there. I mean, it's a lot of flavor on there. So it'll wash off if you don't get it too soon. So I'm going to chop some of this stuff down. I got a knife on me, and I'll take it back to the kitchen, and we'll make some lemonade with it. All right, I'll see you back there. Okay, we're back here at the home kitchen, and I'm going to, I've got my sumac that I've picked off this tree, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it in a cold pot of water. You want to use cold because if you don't use cold, there's some tannin inside these berries that will leach out, and it then becomes more of a medicine. Now, if you're making tea, hot tea, what I've done in the past is I'll take a coffee cup and I will put one of these branches, one of these stems, inside the coffee cup, and then pour the hot water over this and let it sit there for a minute or two, and then take it out. And by that time, all the medicinal properties and some of the tannin has come out as well. But what you don't want to do is have it sit inside there and let it leach. Let it leach a bunch of tannin out into your liquid. So if you're making tea, just pour the hot water over this inside the cup. Then if you want to filter it, you can do that. I mean, we want to make sure it's clean. I doubt there's going to be any bugs inside of here, but you can filter it if you want to. I've drank it unfiltered. I'm going to filter this actually. I have an old T-shirt laid over the pitcher that I'm going to use and make my lemonade. So that'll be filtered with any gunk that's in here, but as far as tea purposes, it's not that big a deal. If you want to, filter it. If you don't, the point I'm trying to make is that you don't want to have this just sitting in hot water for a long period of time, because there is tannin inside of there, and it then basically will turn into medicine. It's not that big a deal, but it can be kind of bitter. That's all. Anyway, right? I mean, this stuff is really sticky. This is, like I said, in the fall. The fall hasn't really gotten here yet, and it's the end of summer, and there really hasn't been a lot of rain, and so all this stuff is really sticky. It's got a lot of citrus flavor on these berries, so this is going to be some pretty good tasting stuff here. So what I do is just take this stuff, drop it into the water. Just let that sit there like that. What you want to do is kind of crush it a little bit with your hands, work that stuff out of there. What this is going to do is just using some cold water, which just kind of leach out that citrus flavor. It's just a great citrus flavor into the water there. And what we'll do is we'll let this sit here for about 10 or 15 minutes after I've finished crushing these out a little bit to work out some of the flavor. We'll let this sit out here for about 10-15 minutes, and we'll come back here in a minute or two and see how it is, and then we'll take it and put it inside the pitcher. All right, be right back. Okay, so we've got all of our juice inside my lemonade container here, and it tastes pretty good. It's really tart. Depending on how much you use, I probably would have used more if I could do it over again. Use some more. It's pretty tart, but I like it with maybe a little more flavor. So maybe next time, if you're trying to follow along with this video, go ahead and pick a little more than what I did off the tree. So, but either way, it's still going to need some sugar. So instead of sugar, we don't use sugar around here. We use honey. So I'll just get a little bit of honey here and get this in there. And we'll mix that in. But yeah, it's going to be good, and I've used this before. I'll tell you what, it's going to be one heck of a good lemonade. So go ahead and sweeten as you want to taste, and I hope you enjoy it. Mine's a little more of a yellow tint than some of the other ones I've seen online. Some of the other YouTube videos, it's actually more red than yellow. But there's a lot of different varieties of sumac out there, and I think some of the varieties I've seen online were different than mine. So I think every time I've ever made the sumac tea or the lemonade, it's more of, on my end, it's been more of a yellow. So anyway, it may differ from where you are. I'm in the Midwest, central Midwest, so I think that's just the kind of red sumac that we have here. So, all right, I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching my video.